Hi there, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Okay, so here we are today with the Norse runes. Not all of them are runes. As you can see, one of them depicts the Norse god Balder. Balder was one of the Allfather, or Odin, one of his sons, and he was said to be the fairest of them all. Really good looking and just graced with this beauty and radiance. Okay, we'll talk about him in a little while. So, what I did today is I picked three cards. The first one, Tiwaz, is one of the Norse runes. Second one is Balder. He popped out second. And then I took the bottom of the deck, which I often do, which is Nauder. Okay. So these all have similar kind of energies, and it's quite interesting for what the message of the week is. When we look at Tiwaz, first of all, Tiwaz talks about being a rune of war, okay, sometimes conflict. And this doesn't mean that it always has to be outward, it can be inner and outer conflict. And it represents also justice and law, bringing things back into balance. So this may represent the fact that maybe we need to deal with something that have to do with law, and we maybe have to remain a bit unattached to the outcome of what's going to happen here. But it can also show that it's a time to kind of pick up your spiritual sword and get rid of obstacles that are blocking your path, things that prevent you from being your best self or doing the things that you want to do or achieving the goals. Maybe you've dropped the ball a bit, or you have kind of gone off the path of the things that you originally wanted to work on, like we mentioned the other day. So, with this new moon energy that we're just busy moving out of now, this was what the goal was here, was to see, what do we need to reassess? Where did we have goals in the beginning of the year, perhaps, where we have kind of veered off from them because we've been distracted by other things or feel like we need to take care of this first or that first, and we've neglected certain things that in the beginning of the year were important to us. It's also then a time to see, are these things still important? Are they still relevant? Are they still valid? So this is very important as well. And like all spiritual warriors that need to go to war or need to cut away certain things, you also need to understand that sometimes you can only do so much to create an outcome, to force a resolution of something that you are looking towards or that you desire. And then you need to leave the rest up to the powers that be. Okay, so maybe you're looking for justice in a situation and it says you'll have it, but it may come unexpectedly and it's not up to you to force that. Okay, so it causes us to sometimes need to sacrifice a belief system or a thought pattern that no longer serves us, something that needs to fall away in order to remove that blockage. And this battle is internal a lot of the time. Okay, so this is saying that you do have a spiritual sword and shield that is there to back you up in times of crisis when you are trying to deal with something like this. Okay, when there's something that is disturbing you on the inside and you feel like you are not able to exert enough influence over it, this is a sign to say, don't worry, you're protected, you are aided in your fight, in whatever that fight is. Okay. And then we have Balder, who came up second. Like I say, he is supposed to be the most handsome and beautiful of all of Odin's children. And, also very gracious, very kind, very gentle, and he was very cheerful. He was called the bringer of light, okay? So he was there to lift everybody's spirits. And this is a very simple message. And it's saying, look for light within yourself. Find your own happiness. And that sounds very cliche, but especially in this week going forward, we need to be able to consciously and physically lift our own spirits so that we can lift the energy around us and lift the spirits of people around us too. That's very important, okay, to get rid of that darkness. We need to tap into our joy. We need to let it come from the heart, and then we need to allow it to expand outward, because sometimes we need to cheer up the people around us, or we're in a very somber kind of a setup, especially when we dealing with like Tiwa's energy, where we might feel like we're at war with ourselves or at war with someone else or dealing with legal issues. All right, we need to make sure we keep our spirits up. We need to feel that joy, and we need to allow it to expand not only outwardly but inwardly as well. Okay, because it's from your heart that all of these things come, that Balder teaches us: compassion, gratitude, forgiveness, which is going to come up as well when we speak of Naudur. Okay, Naudur can be a difficult rune because it talks about looking at those aspects of ourselves. It's about dealing with the darker aspects of ourselves, the darker aspects of other people, things that we feel block us. Okay, so it's the shadow side basically, and it's never an easy thing to look at or confront. But this rune comes up to say to you, it's time to look at what you project onto other people. Do you project blame onto other people, shame? Do you not take responsibility for certain things? That's a very difficult thing for us to notice, to acknowledge, and to do something about. Okay, acknowledging is the most difficult thing, to actually admit, yes, maybe I'm taking advantage, or maybe I'm not taking enough ownership in this particular situation for my behavior, for my actions. Maybe I'm just blaming somebody because it's much easier. Maybe I'm retaliating because I feel shameful about something. Okay, so when we project what we're feeling onto other people, like fear or resentment, it stops us from clearly seeing and understanding that person and also ourselves. If we can admit those things, we can shift those things. We are saying, I'm being honest with myself. I'm being real with myself. This is who I really can be sometimes, but so can other people. And we need to understand that and have that compassion for ourselves and others. Okay, so it takes both parties to be honest and have that honest communication to see each other and hear each other, but truly see each other. Okay, so this is about diving deep and finding where you have areas that are wounded that you need to maybe address, because we only retaliate like this when we're wounded, like a wolf that you're trying to release from a trap. It's hurt and it's going to retaliate. Okay, and it's going to retaliate a lot more than if you just met it in the forest. So there's this anger, there's this fear, all of these things that cause you to behave in this way, and you need to find the root of that. Okay, so when we resolve those emotional wounds and we address the blame and the shame, that is what brings the healing. And that is what we need to look for this week. We need to look for those things that are blocking us, that are stopping us from feeling compassion, stopping us from acting gracefully, stopping us from finding that joy. So, amongst these two cards on the right hand side, we need to tap into Baldur's energy this week, okay, and try to find that inner light, that grace, that peace, that compassion that we can find firstly within ourselves, because if it's not within you, you're not going to be able to project it out to others. But we need to find that, and we need to have that faith and that trust again that we do have the spiritual protection that's been spoken about on the right hand side. You are protected. You have the sword and the shield. Things might end in an unexpected way because you don't always have control, and control is a thing that humans love to have. All right, but this is about surrendering control and surrendering that fear and all of these kind of things too, and seeing yourself for who you really are and seeing others for who they really are, and instead of seeing them as the enemy and you as completely innocent, ask yourself if maybe you're projecting. Ask yourself if maybe you're the one not taking ownership and you're just trying to find a scapegoat. Okay? We don't like to hear that about ourselves, but we can all be like that at certain times. And then have compassion for yourself and say, you know what, I did that, but let me see now how I'm going to fix that. And that is exactly what's going to remove that Naudur energy that's been challenging you there. But you're being told, don't worry, Tiwaz is there because you've got this energy that is giving you the sword and the shield. And it's a spiritual power that can help you and guide you. So don't be afraid to face those things, because the reward is the energy of Baldur. Okay. I hope you all enjoyed this reading. I wish you a beautiful week ahead. You must please take care, and I'll chat to you again soon.